Welcome to Yoga with Brittany and Stella and Millie, wherever she is. She will appear, I'm sure. Today's word of the day is receive. So when we're babies, receiving is something that we have to do, and when we're children, it's not something that we think about. We have to receive food, shelter, clothing, and we hopefully will receive love. But these things are not things that, they're not things that we consciously think about when we're young. Because when we're young, we have the ability to receive from someone graciously, hopefully, but we have the ability to receive without having any second thoughts about it. And as we get older, society kind of puts this idea in our heads that in order to receive, we have to give. Or in order to receive, we should feel some sense of obligation or some sense, hello Millie, of, that there's shame involved if we don't give back. And so today, I ask you to consider, or how are you with receiving? Can you receive a compliment without feeling weird? Can you receive a gift without feeling like you also need to give one back? Can you receive the air that you breathe? Can you receive the food that you eat with gratitude? Just see if you can kind of open yourself up to receiving a little bit. And in your practice, can you receive the benefits of the poses by breathing through them and doing them in the best way you know how? So before we start with Om, let's start with a few grounding deep breaths. So find a comfortable seat and go ahead and exhale all the air in your lungs. Let it all out. Just empty yourself completely of air. And once you've done that, slowly inhale, and you might need to put your hand on your belly so that you can feel yourself receiving the air, the oxygen. So inhale deeply all the way to your lungs capacity and hold for a couple seconds. And once you've done that, exhale slowly with control everything out of your lungs again. Once you're completely empty, do it again. Inhale deeply and fully, maybe through your nose if possible. To the top of your lung capacity, maybe take one more sip of air. Hold. And then release slowly. Until all the air is out of your lungs. And then take another deep inhale, last time. Hold. Exhale slowly and fully. Now we'll inhale for Om. This is always optional and it's on YouTube, so I will never know. So go ahead and take an inhale, and you can place your palms at heart center. You can place them open in front of your, on your legs as a gesture of receiving. You choose, and you can join in or just listen. Lower your hands and come on to tabletop position with your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. I always love how my cats know exactly when to get up. It might be me moving, that helps. So look at your hands and make sure your fingers are separated evenly and point your index finger straight ahead. Again, exhale all of the breath out of your lungs. As you inhale, lift your head and your hips, drop your belly for cow pose. And then as you exhale, round your back and lower your head and press your tailbone in for cow. Inhale again for cat. And exhale for cow. Now from here, move with your own breath. And if you need to add a little extra movements in your hips, like maybe move them side to side, look up one hip and then the other, you can do that. If you need to like do a full body circle, feel free to do that. That feels really good for me. Moving all around in a big circle. And then once you do that a couple times, maybe you come back around for the other side. Or maybe you're just in cat-cow. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you're breathing. And then once you feel complete, come back to a tabletop, flat back position, and then walk your hands forward about a handprint. Keep them separated evenly, index fingers straight ahead, and grip the floor with your fingerprints. Then take your toes, curl them under, and keep your knees bent as you lift your hips up to where the ceiling and the wall meet. And once you're in this sort of bent-legged down dog position, you can keep pushing your hips up to then straighten your legs and then try to lower your heels to the floor. In our first down dog though, what I want you to do is pedal it up. So this is called down dog jog, just moving your hips side to side, bending one knee and then the other, and breathing. Maybe bend your knees again and then straighten them to push your hips up. And take a full inhale here, the top of your lungs. Once you reach the top, lift up your heels even more and rock forward into a plank position as you exhale. So exhale fully here and hold plank pose. So lift your belly, tone it in your thighs, engage your glutes. You can do a push-up here if you like, but continue to breathe. And then on your next exhale, push your hips back into down dog. And then inhale and lift your right leg up and back for a three-legged dog. And then step through as you exhale for a lunge. First lunge, make sure you're set up correctly. Back leg can be straight and strong. Back knee can be lowered with top of foot on the floor. Your choice, but make sure that your front shin is straight up and down. Now take if your right leg is in front, take your right hand, place it inside your torso, and then walk your hands forward for a down dog lunge. In this position, lower your head to the floor and breathe as you stretch out the back of your body. Press down evenly in your hands, maybe even widen your shoulders. Widen your hands out to give your shoulders some more rest or space. And on your next exhale, come back inside your foot and then step outside to frame it again, and then step back into a down dog. Once you're back in down dog, take a breath here. And then on your next inhale, lift your left leg up and back for a three-legged dog. And as you exhale, step through for a lunge, making sure that you're set up correctly again. This time, take your left hand, place it inside your left foot, and walk your hands forward one at a time, carefully, until your left hand is maybe a foot in front of your foot. If it's closer, that's totally fine too. Just allow your head to hang heavy, press down on the floor with your hands and feet as you breathe always. See if you can keep your breath steady like the ocean waves. It might even help to keep you calm. You can walk your hands back now and then step back into a down dog. Sometimes if I hear myself breathing slowly and steadily over long periods of time, maybe not even long periods of time, maybe just a few minutes, it will calm me down. Same goes for yoga practice. This is a physical practice and an emotional practice. All right, now come forward again into plank position, but we're not gonna stay here. Now we're gonna lower down. Yay! Okay, bring your arms alongside your torso with your palms pointing up. Bring your feet together. Point your feet so that your kneecaps lift off the ground and then look forward. Now scoot your shoulders back onto your back. Broaden your chest here. And then inhale, lift your chest even more as you press down onto the floor with your hands, your feet, and your hips. Keep your kneecaps lifted and breathe. And try instructing as you're in this pose. And then lower down and bring your hands to the front of your mat and rest your forehead on your mat for just a second. Now, come back up and lift up onto your knees, and then take your right foot and place it in the front of your mat like in plank position. And then you can either keep your back knee lowered, or you can curl your toes under and lift your back leg if you want more of a challenge. Take your left hand, place it outside of your right foot, about 8 inches, and then move your hand to the side so your thumb is almost pointing forward and your fingers are straight out. From here, inhale and look to the right side as you extend your right arm up and breathe in the twist. You're going for front thigh parallel to the floor, and then squeeze your thighs in towards each other to bring in everything towards the midline. Exhale, lower down. Lower your back knee if it's not lowered already, and then switch. So bring your top knee back, and then your left foot up to the front. Again, make sure your front shin is straight up and down, and then take your right hand, place it out about 8 or 10 inches from your left foot, thumb pointing sort of straight ahead, and then your back toes curled under and lifted, or you can keep your knee on the floor, and then inhale, extend your left arm up. So you want your shoulders stacked. This is revolved lunge. You're twisting in your torso here. So try to engage those muscles as you breathe and enjoy this practice. Now lower your back knee if it's not lowered already. Place the back of your foot on the floor. So this is my right foot, tap a foot on the floor. And then I'm gonna sit a little deeper so that my front thigh is no longer parallel, but it's more at an angle. So I'm getting a deeper hip stretch. And then from here, interlace your fingers behind your back, squeeze your shoulders together on your back again, and look up a little bit. If you want a deeper stretch, you can maybe even micro bend and look up at the ceiling. Otherwise, this is just fine. The goal is you want your shoulders together on your back while your chest is expanding forward. Open that heart chakra, receive the love, receive joy in the world, receive gratitude, all the good things. Carefully release your hands. Place your hands in front of you, and then take your left knee back to meet your right, and then take your right knee forward where your left one was. And you can either move your foot forward or you can move your knee back, however you would need to get there. But just remember, we don't want our thighs parallel in this position. We want to be kind of seated down lower. Again, interlace your fingers behind your back. Maybe interlace the non-dominant way this time. And then sink your hips forward a little bit as you squeeze your shoulders together on your back and look up. And breathe. Try to tone your abdomen here. And smile. Sometimes if we're not feeling great, just smiling will help us to fake it till we make it. Carefully release. Frame your front foot. And then come back down onto your belly. With your arms straight out in front of you and your ankles touching. You can keep your hands shoulder width apart or wider if your shoulders need more space. Or you can bring your palms flat together. That's going to make it a little more difficult. So you choose, look forward, and then inhale, lift everything but your hips off the floor. And breathe into your back. And shake it out, and then lower down. Okay, and then plant your hands again towards the top of your mat. Index finger straight ahead, fingers separated, curl your toes under, and then send your hips up for another down dog. And breathe here in this down dog. And then inhale, send your right leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your right knee. Place your right knee behind your right wrist and flex your right foot. As you sit back with your left leg straight behind you, continue to keep your right foot flexed. This is pigeon. You can stay here upright and get a deep hip stretch. If you want more of a challenge, you can walk your hands slowly forward. Come onto your forearms and hang out. Breathe. Flex that foot. Try to keep your abdomen toned slightly. And then walk your hands back up. And then carefully move your front foot back. Come back into a down dog. And on your next inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, bend your knee and place your left knee behind your left wrist as you scoot your right foot back. And then bring it in just a little bit so it's not flaring out to the right side. That's not going to feel good. And then keep your left foot flexed over here in front of your right hip. And sit up straight. Keep your foot flexed. It's going to protect your knee. I'm going to keep saying it. You'll feel it though. You'll be like, oh, this isn't right. All right. And then if you want to go farther, walk your hands farther and maybe come onto your forearms and breathe into your left hip. And then use your hands to sit your torso back up. Place them at the front of your mat and then carefully move back. And just so we can feel both of our legs and how they're doing now, let's go back into one more down dog here. So push those hips up toward the ceiling and the wall intersection. Then straighten your legs and then push your heels down. And now bend your knees and let's go into a standing pose. So let's go into mountain pose. So bring your feet together, maybe lift your toes, separate them, and then place them back on the floor. And if you need to, rock forward and backward just a little bit on your feet to where you find that comfortable middle ground. And once you're there, extend your arms by your sides. Push your shoulders down away from your ears as you lift your chin out of your chest for mountain pose. And take a breath here. or a couple. I got lost in my own mind for a second. And now, from here, take your hands and place them in prayer position in front of your chest. Now bend your knees. Take your right elbow and place it outside of your left thigh, and then sit back onto your heels a little bit to try to get your thighs close to parallel. Hello, kitty. Millie. So stack your elbows, place your hands together, breathe into your side body. And then inhale, come back up into a mountain pose. I'll turn for you. And then place your hands in front of you in prayer position again, out of your chest. Bend your knees and move your torso to the side so that your left elbow is outside of your right thigh now. Place your hands on top of each other if they aren't already, which they should be. Continue to breathe. Don't let your cat knock you over if they're doing to you what Millie's doing to me. I think the animals just love walking under us when we're on our mats. That's been my observation anyway. Okay, coming back into standing. And then take your right ankle and pick it up and hold it with your right hand. If this is not good for you for balance, then use your left ankle as a kickstand for your right foot. So you can place it at the root of your inner thigh, or you can place your right foot on your right shin. Don't place it on your knee. So press your thigh into your foot into your thigh, move your right knee out a little bit, and then inhale, lift your arms up, or bring them down into prayer position, or place them on your hips, or do like a roll. Maybe I can do that, I don't know. But just breathe, find your balance, find your center. And exhale, lower down. And then take your left foot and do the same. So either use it as a kickstand, place it on your calf, or pick it up and place it at the root of your inner thigh for tree pose. Move your left thigh out to the side, wobble a little bit. Use your arms to help you balance. I have to do that a lot. You can place them on your hips. You know the options. All right, after this, we're going to get into a fun little sequence. So, carefully lower your left leg and then come into a wide stance. In your wide stance, hold out your arms and make sure that your ankles are below your wrists. And then turn your right foot out 90 degrees and turn your left heel out just a little bit past your little pinky toe. And then bend into your front knee, front thigh parallel, front shin perpendicular to the floor. Once you have your legs set up, extend your arms out to the side and gaze over your right fingertips for warrior two. Tone in your abdomen, try to keep your head in line over your hips and press down evenly in your feet. Now take your right elbow, bend it, and just rest it on your right thigh. And then inhale your left arm up over across your face so that your tricep is touching your face. And don't put a ton of weight into your right hand, your right elbow. Just kind of use it there for a little bit of balance help. As you breathe and reach up with your top arm. Now take your top arm and place it on your back leg and take your right arm and come across your face this way. And breathe here. You can place your back hand on your calf, just below your knee. And then we're going to straighten that front leg and hinge at our hips. So push your hips back behind you and then take your right hand and place it, just use your fingertips to balance. Place it outside of your right foot. And then you can stack your left shoulder on top. If you can't touch the floor, just bend your knee a little bit to give you access to the floor. It's totally fine. Okay, if your knee is not yet bent, bend it a little bit to give you access to come back into a standing position. Come back into your wide-legged stance, and this time, take your left foot and turn it out 90 degrees. Move your right heel out just slightly past that little toe. You don't want it in. And then bend into your left leg and line it up so that your knee is on top of your ankle and that your front heel is in line with your back arch. Then extend your arms out to the side. Look over your left fingertips. Align your head over your hips, so you may need to lift your chest a little bit. And keep your abdomen muscles firm. Press down evenly in your feet. Now take your left arm, bend your elbow, and place it on your left leg. Extend your right arm over top and allow your right tricep to rest on your face or just graze your face as you breathe here. Reach with your top arm. And then bring it back behind you. Place it on your shin as you lift your left arm up across your face for peaceful warrior. It's going to require a lot of leg strength, pressing down into the floor. And I'm telling you, your breath is there to help you. So I know I say breathe a lot, but do it. You'll be happy you did. And then straighten that front leg. Send your hips back behind you. Take your left hand. Place your fingertips on the floor outside your leg or bend your knee a little bit to give you more access to reach the floor. And then stack your shoulders. And you can look down, out, or up. So down, out, up. I would recommend looking up first, just to make sure that your arm's not way back behind you or in front of you, but that it's stacked on top of your shoulder that's going towards the ground. And breathe. Okay, so lower your top arm, bend your knee a little bit to come back up to standing, and then bring your heels parallel to each other again, your feet parallel to each other. Now that we're in a wide stance, let's just go ahead and do a wide-legged forward fold. So hinge at your hips and lower your hands down to the floor in front of you. And you can stay here with your back in a flat position. That's totally okay. You're still getting a good stretch in your legs. If you want to go farther, you can carefully walk your hands back between your feet and press down onto the floor. And if you want to go farther than that, you can press down and forward with your hands, press down and back with your feet, rock forward with your torso, and allow your head to gently rest on the floor. Do not put any weight into it. And then walk your hands back to forward position. And then heel toe your feet together. Now, come onto your knees, but bring your feet together and widen your knees as wide as your mat. So kind of sit back onto your feet and then walk your hands forward as you lower down into a child's pose. Rest your forehead on the mat. If you do not feel comfortable doing that, then bend your elbows and rest your forehead on the tops of your hands. But either way, sit back in your heels with your weight, your weight, you want it sitting back on your heels. I'm too relaxed to think clearly right now. Child's pose is so good. If children don't have a hard time receiving, why do we have a hard time receiving? Carefully come back up and then lie down on your back. So come to place your bottom in the middle of your mat and then place your feet in front of you. Lie back on your back. And now place your feet at the edges of your mat and allow your knees to fold in towards each other. This is called constructive rest. You can place your hands on your belly if you like. You can let them relax on the floor. But just allow your knees to fall in with your feet wide and receive this gentle stretch. Now bring your right foot all the way out, so your right leg straight out in front of you with your heel on the floor, and bring your left knee in towards your chest, and maybe interlace your fingers around your shin to pull it in towards your chest, and keep your left foot flexed. Keep your right heel either on the ground, dig it into the ground. And breathe here. Then take your right hand and bring your left knee over your torso to your right side, and then you can place your left hand on the floor, straight out beside you. Come back to center, extend your left leg out in front of you, and then bend your right knee and bring your knee towards your chest. Press your left heel into the floor, interlace your fingers in front of your shin, and pull your thigh towards your torso. Then take your left hand, pull your right knee across your body towards the left side, and then extend your right arm out to the side. Now, bring your back to center and bring in both knees towards your chest. As you wrap your arms around them, give yourself a much needed hug. Receive your own love. Sia has a song that says, I need you to love you before you can love me. So the first step is always loving yourself. You can roll around on your back a little bit if that feels good. Otherwise, if you are ready, you can relax And extend your legs out, extend your arms out beside you. Allow the support of the earth to hold your body. Just know that you are being held. You are good, you are okay. And take some deep breaths to fully surrender into Shavasana. Shavasana is where we rest and we receive the benefits of all the practice we just did. So I encourage you to pause the video and take a long Shavasana as much as you can. All you're going to do is close your eyes, surrender, breathe. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful week.